Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is on the brink of winning an MVP. But will winning the MVP actually hurt his card value? Plus, what happens to the sports card market when the economy crashes? Did I say when? The answers might surprise you. Let's dive into the numbers, the hype, and what it means for your wallet. What is up, everybody? I am Dappz, here with Ethan, and welcome back to Up or Down, the show where we explore what moves a card's value up or down. Today, we're diving into the MVP race and asking the big question. Does winning the MVP award actually increase the value of SGA's cards long term? Or is this all just short-term hype? We've seen prices spike, but is that your sign to sell or hold? Let's break it down. Okay, so SGA's Logo Min sold back in March 2023 for $228,000 roughly. Then his one-of-one Prism Black Finite sells for around $196,000, and then a couple months back, his gold just sold for $156,000. So now the question is, that Black Finite has to be worth how much more?
The Black Finite is probably about $1 million card right now. I think the Jokic Black Finite is probably a multi-million-dollar card, but the Shai market isn't going to last very long. It reminds me kind of like what the James Harden market was doing back in the day when he was averaging a triple-double and two-time MVP. There, in no shape or reality is Shai Gilgeous impacting his team as much as Jokic is. Jokic should be a 5-6-time MVP right now. He's never played with an all-star. He's never had any help whatsoever besides Jamal Murray, who's maybe a B-grade player. If you look at Shai's team, he's got Chet, top pick. He's got J-Dub, who'd be an all-star on any team. He has a plethora of first overall picks all surrounding him, Caruso, Hardenstein. The Shai market is doomed for failure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how anyone could want to pay more money for an SGA card than a Joker card. Also, there's a huge argument for Joker to be the MVP. I mean, averaging a triple-double. The fact that Russell Westbrook, and I think you meant Westbrook over Harden, I'm not sure.
Both
but Westbrook averaged a triple-double in two separate seasons, actually I think 3 separate seasons, which hadn't been done since Oscar Robertson in the 70s or the late 60s, whenever it was. So people, I think, are getting a little bit too comfortable with the fact that, do you know how hard it is to average a triple-double? Like LeBron James and Michael Jordan have never averaged a triple-double, right? Nobody did this since Oscar Robertson, then Russ. Now Joker's the third guy to do it. So that should kind of get you the MVP. Averaging a triple-double should get you the MVP. Just doing that alone. Now, what SGA has done in terms of efficiency, the points that he's scoring, I think he scored like 35 points the other night and didn't even shoot a 3. Like, definitely impressive. And also, his team is like 18 games above the next team, the Rockets, before the playoff starts. So in terms of powerhouse team, OKC for sure is a better team than the Nuggets. But 18 games better, like that hasn't been done in I don't know how long. That's a big increase. Maybe the Celtics did something similar last year. But regardless, Joker has got to be a higher price point than SGA, who, by the way, at this point has no championship and no MVP. If he wins the MVP and loses the championship, how do you justify spending that much money on SGA?
He's not only averaging a triple-double at 7 feet tall, 300 pounds. He's top 10 in assists. He's number 1 in blocks on his team. He's number 1 in every statistical category on his team. What Jokic is doing is not just getting a triple-double and losing games like Harden or Westbrook. He's getting a triple-double and winning championships. There's a stigma around the whole hobby that guards are what people want, wings are what people want. We need to show love to the big men. Shaq has no value. Kareem has no value. Jokic, those 3 players dominated their eras. These are people that won several championships. Nikola Jokic should be going down as a top 10, 20 player ever. Well, I guarantee if you look back at 5 years, Shai's not even in the top 100.
Yeah, so I think the opportunity for SGA's cards to go up or down right now, I think they still can go up until they get eliminated, right? So I think his market is super high right now. There's a small window to make money on him. And I would compare this to Jaden Daniels. So Jaden Daniels, hot market, playing like a beast, rookie, comes in, wins his first playoff game, price spikes. So if SGA does win their first playoff series, I could see his price going a little bit higher. I could see it continue to go higher if he gets to the championship, but that's the peak. The week before the championship starts or the days before it starts, if you're not selling SGA, your card price is about to go down.
I have a question for you. If Jokic wasn't on the Nuggets and Shai wasn't on the Thunder and those teams played each other, what would it come out to be?
Oh, I mean, you're right. I think OKC would be in a similar position, 15, 16, 17 games above.
OKC would
the 2 seed.
The Nuggets. They would sweep them completely. I'm so tired of the fact that all these Shai cards are doing crazy numbers when there's so many more Shai cards out there than Jokic. Jokic has no patch autos in NT or flawless. He has maybe only 5 number parallels in Prism. If you saw how many Prism Silver Jokic 10s there are compared to Shai, you would puke. Shai is one of the most overprinted players in the market at the moment. The reason you don't see a lot of Jokic sales and a lot of it going up gradually is because it doesn't come to market often. People are diamond handsing these Jokic cards. You'll never see the black sale. You were lucky enough to see the Immaculate Logo Man sale, which was under promoted because that is his only Logo Man. People saw no auto and threw a fit over that. They don't understand.
So why is that his only Logo Man?
Because he didn't have patch autos and NT or flawless. He's a second. He got drafted during a McDonald's ad.
Right.
No one even knew who he was. He went to a team that had Joffrey Lavanier, Joseph Nurkic, Juan Hernagomez. Like no one. This pick was supposed to be one of those guys that never even come to the league. You know when you go through Wikipedia and you see those green names?
Yep.
That's what Jokic was supposed to be.
It's so insane that he got picked during a commercial.
Yeah.
So another player to talk about whose prices went up after they won their MVP, Josh Allen, right? So Josh Allen won his first MVP, and it is a little bit different, I think, because I think he won the MVP after they got eliminated.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
I believe that's
what happened. So his prices are probably down from the point that he actually won the MVP. But Josh Allen card prices were going up and up and up and up the end of the year because everyone was calling him out to be the MVP. So the question is, how much does the card market and the hobby regard an MVP in relation to the price of a card? Do you think that Josh Allen wins an MVP, his card should immediately go up in price? And how much? 10%, 20%?
It's just like stocks where you buy the hype and you sell the news. Winning the MVP will be the last time Shai will go up. But now is your chance to sell Shai. The fact that you see these, what did the gold you said did 200K in a PSA 10? I would bet another 200K that card will never do more than 200K. That is a 60K card on a good day. You always want to sell something before it happens. Like, remember last season, we talked about Josh Allen and Lamar. Josh Allen and Lamar prices went up, and then when it happened, Josh went up a little bit, and Lamar just plummeted. Being speculatory in the market is the most value you can have. That's why you buy players in the offseason. Because right now I can buy a JJ McCarthy card and tell you, hey, he's going to be the shit for the Vikings. Do I have proof? No. Do I need proof? No. But once
by the way, all he really has to do is have a couple good games to start the season, and everyone will be like, oh my God, he's going to win. He could win the Super Bowl. He could win the MVP. And I'll tell you a story real quick. I bought the gold vinyl Brock Purdy rookie in the offseason. Some guy hit in a break. Like some random guy through a mutual friend was like, hey, do you want to buy this card for 10K? And I was like, no, I don't want it. I'll give you 4K for it. He ended up accepting $4,500. We take it to the National, same year, bring it to BGS 9. Okay. Crack it. Bring it to PSA. Literally hours later, PSA 10. Brock Purdy, this was the year, not last year, I think 2 years ago, the Niners went on a run. They went like 5-0 to start the season. After the third game they won, I sent it to Golden. I was like, if I get 15 to 20K for this card, 3X, I'm happy. Sold for $35,000. Brock Purdy, PSA 10, gold vinyl, never did anything. And by the way, it's crazy that I'm looking at this sale now. Josh Allen's Prism Gold Vinyl rookie out of 5 sold in 2022 for $264,000. By the way, back in 2022, like, this is speculation. This is what you're talking about. There's no reason that card should sell for $260,000. Zero reason in 2022. You could make an argument now because he has an MVP. But again, if Josh Allen never wins another MVP and never wins a Super Bowl, do you believe that card would continue to go up, or does it go down from here?
I think it only goes down because these aren't one Super Bowl prices. These are multiple Super Bowl prices. These are Patrick Mahomes prices, who has 3 and probably going to end up with 6 by the time he's done. Last week, we talked about that Ohtani card that went up. So my buddy Spinatron last week announced that he bought the Ohtani 50/50 logo man. He announced in the first sentence of his post that was a speculation buy. That's a better speculative buy than other things because he's already an accomplished player and is speculating him going from 1 World Series to 8 World Series or 7 World Series.
But you know what? The reason I like that buy too is what does Ohtani have? 2 or 3 MVPs?
Yeah.
3?
But that's basically what I'm saying is that that's a speculation, and he already has so much accomplishments. You're speculating on Shai, who has nothing under his name.
Right. Well, not only that, though. The reason that I don't also consider that as much of a speculation buy is that card that he bought is attached to history. It's attached to baseball history. 50/50, never been done before, probably won't be done anytime soon, and you have the MLB logo from the glove, I believe, or the pants, one of the two that's in that card. So, like, Shohei wore that, right? He wore that, and now it's in a card that was also signed in the year 50/50. So when you talk about National Treasures or EMAC logo man or even a Prism signed card, like, that's not attached to Josh Allen. That's not attached to Joker. That's not attached to SGA. That card is attached to Shohei Ohtani, right? Forever. He wore that in a game in the season that he did 50/50. So Spinatron, I like that buy more than a lot of others because it's attached to moments, which I think, and I will give kudos to Dappz, is the more moments that you're attaching these cards to. So now they're talking about the WWE WrestleMania patches. Brilliant. I don't know if they've been watching this show and listening to all of our ideas. Probably. I mean, probably. Let's be real here. But I love that idea. I love that a WWE fan can watch WrestleMania, watch The Rock or John Cena face off, and then there's a patch that goes in a card and they sign that. And that was the moment that John Cena got slapped by The Rock and Vince McMahon. Like, that's awesome. That's really cool. And I think that I do like the Spinatron buy because of that.
Yeah, the wrestling atmosphere is about to pop off. If you see the Panini production, the top production, they are currently battling to show who can make the better product. And at this point, wrestling cards are the hottest thing on the market. You see these Prism first year wrestling things going for crazy numbers right now.
Do you like Prism over Chrome, or do you have any opinion on WWE cards?
WWE cards, I like Panini more. The flawless ones look sick because they all have cool outfits, so all the patches are really nice. Also, the Prism looks like the capturing moments. A lot of the cards that you see, like rookies in Prism, are like photo shoot cards or like off the field. Like, you're literally seeing photos of the Undertaker choke slamming The Rock. Like, these are actors at the end of the day, so they know how to frame the moment.
Dappz idea of the week. Okay, we have our debut patches, right? You have your Ohtani logo man that, again, I can't remember if it got pulled from his pants or the glove, but either way, cool. I'm looking at your Arizona Diamondbacks hat now, and obviously you've got the new era patches and these different side patches, but how cool would it be to pull whatever it is out of the hat, right? And I know they do this to a degree right now, but like MLB players probably go through so many hats, right? So they're not as attached to those things, but you wear a hat in a game with a patch on the side or on the back, and you can pull off those and probably multiple patches and then attach it to a moment in a game in the playoffs or first game of the season or all-star game. That's something I think collectors would really, really be interested in as well. And again, I think anything that they're wearing that they can prove, and this is kind of like NFT concepting, right? Like, I think the NFT market is extremely, everybody's cautious of getting into it because it's like, how do you verify this stuff? Oh, well, the blockchain. We're not explaining crypto or the NFT market on here right now. But what I will say is it's really, really cool if there's some verification process of this piece of memorabilia was worn by this player, and now it is in this card, verified by X serial number, and that thing now traces from the collector all the way back to the athlete, moment in time, and that's where I see the true value, right? Where you can actually say, the reason this is valuable is because this is attached to a sports moment in history, as opposed to like, oh, this manufacturer made a really cool designed, NT logoman.
And you saw the clip of the guy jersey swapping with Nestor Cortez with his debut patch on it, and then the next game he's wearing another jersey with the debut patch on it. And it's like, which one is the debut? So it's going to be the second debut patch? Are we going to put like a, how Bowman did first? Should it be like a second marker? And I got to say, Nestor Cortez, he's a hobbyist, definitely knew what he was doing. It was like, oh, free debut patch. Let me just trade you this jersey.
Yeah, but either way, like, there's only one debut patch that went into the card.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, you could, in theory, get that jersey from the jersey swap, but and technically, yes, it is the first
That is
patch.
the debut patch.
But if it stays in that guy's closet, like, then there's no debut patch for Nestor Cortez, and then it was stolen from the hobby. Yeah, that is a good point, though. Like, these players, I think, need to be somewhat aware of, do the picture, but maybe send him another jersey, later in the year or something like that.
What they should have done there is they should have just, like, next day, just not put a debut patch on the jersey and been like, yeah, we called Nestor and said, hey, that's my jersey.
So do you think that there's any cards that or NBA players rather, that you're looking at to go up or down in the playoffs? Or is your position to stay off of trading during the playoffs, or do you see an opportunity to make money?
I just dumped like 10 cards to alt for auction. A Curry, a Jokic, a Tatum, a Shai, all the big names that have already accomplished enough. The ones I'm holding on to are Cade Cunningham, Paulo Banchero, all the ones who can get, Alperen Sengun, all the ones who haven't gotten their playoff success yet, because once you already have some playoff wins, what's another one?
Okay, let me ask you something, though. Sengun beats Curry first round. Are you going to send Sengun into alt?
One of my several flawless RPAs might end up that way. I sent one in this week. I'll probably send another one next week. When Sengun dominates Draymond Green and makes him look like a little clown that he is, then I'm just going to be I'm going to be waiting. The Rockets will make the West. People are scared of that team. They don't want to mention it because everyone's talking about OKC, who doesn't have the balls that Sengun and Jalen Green have. Well, if that's the matchup, I'm taking the Rockets.
Got big balls.
Huge
European balls.
I'm scared about Jokic's balls, but the second best baby Jokic is on the Rockets with a 2 seed. If you check the stats, he's first in points, first in rebounds, first in steals, first in blocks. Like, that is his team. He is the best player on that team. No one knows who he is because he's 21 years old and has from Turkey, but people will find out.
So would you advise or let people who are watching onto some game and say, hey, I'm picking up cards and with the intention of, I'm going to pick up these cards for the next 2 months or so, and I'm going to sell them because I think these players are going to be in the NBA playoffs, and that's the height of their market?
Yeah, you need to forecast these guys early in the season and pick them up before the All-Star break. If you see they're possibly on a playoff team or possibly can just emerge as a talent, then you need to grab them now. You cannot start buying them closer to playoffs because people are already on the wave. But if you look around, you see that Jalen Williams might be better than Shai. If you look at his numbers, he's a higher offensive rating and defensive rating. He's not a free throw merchant. He's a really good positional player who knows where to be on the floor and spacing the court. And you need to buy guys that aren't A echelon players who should be A echelon players.
And also, I think what you're also speaking about too is like, in the event that Jalen Williams, like, let's pretend they win a championship and now OKC's got to break up the team because they don't have the money to pay everybody. The guy who gets paid, maybe Jalen Williams, and goes to another team, as soon as he signs with another team, especially if it's a big market, New York, LA, now you've got way more fans who are potential buyers of that card. So that's where you're also going to see a card's price go up, right, if they go to that big market team on a free agency move. And that's what I've seen is whenever a guy gets traded, right, or signed by another team, there's just a flurry of people going to eBay. Hey, how much is the price of that card? right? And now you've just got there's a higher or a window of demand for that card.
Also, it's not only just the B tier players that turn A tier players. I'm also buying players like Jalen Duren, OG Anunoby, like guys that no one really cares about that could just get a little bump. That's a quick 30%. Like we're not talking you're gonna 3-4x off Jalen Duren cards, but you can make a nice little chunk.
Not to pivot away from basketball, but are you buying anybody by the name of Justin Fields by any chance?
Oh, I would never.
So I currently have a gold prism Justin Fields. I actually have two. One with an autograph, one true. I think it got I think we sent it to PSA and it was so bad we had to crack it open because it was like the worst grade ever. But I'd love to like break even on that card. I think that would be cool if I could get, my money back. But listen, the Jets are such a terrible organization. I don't know if you saw what Aaron Rodgers said yesterday on McAfee about how he got brought in. He flew on his own dime to New York from LA, met with my new head coach, Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn and him are talking for less than 5 minutes. Aaron Glenn leaves the room, comes back with the GM. Now the GM and Aaron start to talk. He thought that was a little weird. As he's talking to the GM, Aaron butts in and goes, "Do you want to play football?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's kind of like why I'm here is to talk about that." Then he goes, "Yeah, I think we're moving in a different direction with a quarterback." And he's like, okay. And his whole position is, this could have been a phone call. I didn't need to fly here, right? And he's like, "Oh, well, tell me what would happen if I was giving a speech to the team and then I'm saying things and they're looking back at you." He's like, "Are you saying that I would try to undermine my head coach?" He's like, "You don't know me." And then Aaron Glenn goes, "You don't know me." And Aaron goes, "That's why I flew across the country to have a conversation with you about my experience with the Jets and the plans going forward." So in my assessment of being a Jets fan, this is like typical Jets organizational nightmare. They have no idea what they're doing. It all starts from the top. And by the way, Aaron Glenn played cornerback for the Jets. I was a huge fan of him. He did a great job as the defensive coordinator in Detroit. I have zero faith in him, dude, especially if this is how this is starting off. Justin Fields, I had faith in him. By the way, I still believe in Justin Fields to a degree. I do not think him on the Jets is the scenario where Justin Fields succeeds.
Well, I'll tell you, if you bought this Justin Fields like a couple of weeks ago, you might make money on it. The Jets are gonna try the hardest to be 8-8 this year, and will probably win some games they shouldn't win. They're not a playoff team, and they're far from a championship team. But picking up players right now who are nobodies, like let's say like Kyler Murray or Trevor Lawrence, and no one wants to buy right now, Justin Fields, and they start doing a little bit, it's enough to raise that market.
We should also talk about, I saw the downtown list of recent sales in the last 30 or 60 days, and I mean, Jaden Daniels is double the price of the next guy. By the way, Bo Nix just passed Caleb Williams for sale. And that could just be like a fluctuating week-by-week thing. But the fact that Bo Nix has passed Caleb Williams is pretty interesting. I also, with Ben Johnson in town with Caleb Williams, I love the opportunity for Caleb Williams to go up from that price point, because this is the irrationality of the hobby, right? We can break it down right now. Jaden Daniels, let's say his price is $1,500 for his downtown. I don't know the exact price, but right around there. Caleb Williams is half, so he's at $750. You're telling me that Jaden Daniels is double the player of Caleb Williams? Now, listen, based on last year, sure, he looks like he could be probably close to double, but I don't know if fans of football realize that usually what you do one year, you don't do the next year, right? So Caleb Williams could continue to go down and not be a legit quarterback, but I think there's a higher rate of Caleb Williams going up than Jaden Daniels going up from his position. So I would be buying a Drake May or buying a Jaden Daniels or buying even a Penix right now based on price points of going, that doesn't make any sense. Jaden Daniels is not double all of these guys. One of these guys, by the way, one of these quarterbacks from last year, it will not surprise me if they perform better than Jaden Daniels statistically next year. That wouldn't surprise me.
Of course.
Like, it can happen. It can happen any year.
Yeah, there's like all this film on them now. Look what happened to C.J. Stroud. He's still a terrific quarterback, but everyone saw the film, saw the stick underneath, don't play two-man high, make him throw above. All of these quarterbacks in the rookie class, there's a higher percentage that every single one of these guys suck than one of them being good.
Yeah, and the other thing with CJ Stroud is I think that he had a terrible offensive line. He got sacked 60 times. So they obviously didn't protect him properly. When teams do that, your quarterback is rushed. He's going to make throws where he's not in the pocket, or he's trying to use his legs when maybe he didn't do that as much the previous year. His percentages go down. So I think we've seen that with Joe Burrow, right? Like, this dude is getting crushed. He's still in contention for the MVP. So, I think it's going to be an exciting NFL season. And before we wrap up today, though, what about baseball? Do you have any plays there that you're looking at right now midseason?
Well, this ties all back into the speculation thing. I don't like to buy players during the season. I want to buy players in the offseason and use all my speculation power and all the sauce I can whip up to sell these cards at premiums without having really any evidence. Right now, players only go down. There might be one or two guys that end up going up and going MVP contention, but all these Bowman first cards that you guys have been hoarding and paying tons of money for, the odds are they come in bat 208 and get sent down in 3 weeks. Bowman first prospecting is probably one of the worst things in baseball during the season. If I'm buying a card right now, I'm buying dynasty patch autos, definitive patch autos of vets with beautiful patches and beautiful ink and good looking card, because I'm not going after the Ronnie Mauricios, and I'm not going after all these big name prospects who are just going to come up and get no playing time and get sent right back down.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that when it comes to baseball, the move is actually to sell majority of your cards right before the season starts. And you also just reminded me that I have a huge Pete Alonso collection, and I should probably be selling it right now because he is mashing. He is hitting like 360. Juan Soto's crying that he doesn't have Aaron Judge, and it's like, bro, I get you don't have Aaron Judge, but like the next best thing to Aaron Judge, the way Pete Alonso is playing, is Pete Alonso, right? So Lindor and Soto, listen, I don't want to go on a Mets fan rant, but like, how do you have Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, and Pete Alonso, and two of them who are getting paid $1 billion? $1 billion. $765 million to freaking Soto and $300 million to Lindor. And they're both combined hitting like 227.
And here comes the problem with prospecting. You have Mark Vientos, Brock Batty, Ronnie Mauricio. Who's playing? None of them is going to be the answer to them.
They all stink.
Yeah, and they're all people that these Mets fans have been paying tons of money for. Like, look at Jackson Holiday. He's going to have struggled to get minutes because all these other talented players. The only players in baseball that I would take prospecting-wise are guys that are coming out either at the end of the year or like next year. Like the Lazaro Montes, the Samuel Basalos, the kids that are a couple years away, that could work. But if you're looking for another Jordan Walker who's going to get the call up and be a monster, the odds are he sucks.
He sucks.
Yeah, they do. Most of them. Look at the track record. It's really bad. I remember people were prospecting on Fernando Tatis, and they hit it because he is good. And now they're all still down tons of money.
Yeah, because he went to, basically PED jail for freaking a year.
Yeah, I mean,
that tanked his cards.
You could prospect and hit and still lose money. Like Adley Rutschman. Look at his numbers pre-call up. He's now the best catcher in baseball, and he's still down. So our words to the wise are be careful on buying baseball right now. Yeah, don't buy baseball right now. That's my advice to you. A big issue right now that I'm seeing, which through Whatnot singles, which is the biggest market right now. More people are buying singles on Whatnot than eBay. The higher end 10-second auctions is a new way to buy cards. So you go to Whatnot, you see these channels, and all I'm seeing in the private market is people are selling these big channel singles, going into the chat, and then bidding up those singles to the price they sold it for and winning them back. The biggest scam in the hobby right now are these channels I don't want to name because you can guess who they are buying these $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 cards. Like, guys, look what I'm running at $1. And then the same guy who they bought it from is winning it back for 5% less. It's just common shilling. It is common shilling. Well, my question is, though, you can't do that and not lose money because you do have to pay Whatnot fees. Right? Oh, yeah. So even if you win, you're paying 5%. It's just, I'm curious how these guys are getting away with it because... Well, because that guy who's bidding 5% less doesn't win all the time. They're just setting the floor. So it's an infinite money glitch. You know, like worst case scenario, you lose 5% on a 30K card, but the best case scenario, which is 8 times out of the 10 times, some guy is getting smacked with it who has no clue he's getting shill bid by the same guy who sold the card to him.
Yeah, and I think this has been going on all the auction sites, even before Whatnot. It's just now Whatnot's been around for 4 or 5 years, and all the illicit games that have been going on the eBays or the PWCCs or the Heritage or whatever auction house that you want to throw up. And by the way, this is not the fault of the auction house, but it is there is a responsibility due to the auction houses to put policy in place to make sure that this is prevented as often as possible. Because listen, these scumbags in the market, they're gonna figure out the rules and ways to manipulate them and ways to shill bid, and you know they don't want to lose their ass on a card. It's like, how about you just be better at buying?
I think people need to stop buying on eBay and stop buying on Whatnot and just going to Facebook groups, going to Instagram groups, going to card shows and buying your cards there in person. There's no games to be played when you're paying cash for cards.
Well, listen, I would agree with you on cards that are rare, right? But I mean, let's use a Silver Prism, for example. You can go on eBay and you can see 10 sales of a Silver Prism probably in the last 2 days, right? If you look at all those sales, you can do some math and do the average of that card. And you can go, all right, I should be paying right around this price. But cards that don't sell every week or every month, or they take 6 months to sell, a Gold Prism, for example, like you don't know what that card's worth at any given time. Like somebody, and this is a common example. So I meet somebody at the National and they're like, oh, well, that sold 5 months ago for, $12K. I'm like, who cares? The season's about to start. And now this player is, Vegas has as the second lead MVP. So different day, different price. It's not 12K anymore. Now it's 15K, right? So listen, everybody wants to make their money, and that's fair, but you should not be ripping people off to do it.
No, and that's what I can't stand for. And I want people to start, because no one's talking about this. I want people to hear this and be like, hey, I want to stop buying off these giant accounts and whatnot because they're just legitimately scamming people. They're not giving you a $50,000 card at $1 for no reason. That's just basically the end of the story.
All right, everybody, that wraps up our episode of Up or Down. I am Dappz with Ethan. We appreciate you watching. Please let us know, are SGA's cards going up or down after he wins MVP? Also, please let us know in the comments, should a player's price go up immediately if they win MVP? Should it stay stagnant? Should it go down? What is your argument there? Because I think we'd all love to hear it. Like, subscribe. We're dropping an episode every single week. We appreciate you watching Up or Down, and we will see you next week.